only do one thing at a time and do big waves. Big waves, big waves, big waves. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Great to see everybody today. And we missed a weekend birthday. Trying to see, she comes on here with her phone doesn't say her name. It's like, I don't know. I don't even know what it is, but it's a bunch of letters. So I don't see her on here yet. But if we get Adrienne, we might be singing her a little happy birthday late this weekend. We'll see if she jumps on. But if we don't see her, happy birthday, Adrienne. We love you. Hope you had a beautiful day. And today we're moving on to the M's. And many of our M words are coming to us. We had two people share their M words. One was Arlene and one was Bill Sailing. And so today's word comes from Bill. And I've got to pull up my notes here, but the word is morale. And when I heard this, we all know that Bill was a principal. So he makes these hard words. Arlene might win with the harder words, but they're harder words that I'm like, okay, I need to look this up. I need to hear the pronunciation. I need to use it in a sentence. Like, tell me how this works. But the word is morale, and it's the state of the spirits of a person or group as exhibited by confidence, cheerfulness, discipline, and a willingness to perform assigned tasks. So that's a mouthful. So I took that as you want to do the work, right? You're in this mental space where you want to do a little bit more. You want to get things done. You want to fight for just one more day. And the quote that I found was, morale is a state of mind. It is steadfastness and courage and hope. And that's George C. Marshall. And I think about different times in my life when I felt really low morale. And for many of us, we've kind of been on a journey together over the last couple of years, and there's been some low moments, right? Am I the only one that had some low moments in the last couple of years where maybe our morale was just kind of broken and we were unexcited and maybe we were a little bit scared? And we felt like we were on a roller coaster and we sure weren't wanting to build or create anything. And, I just think about that time and what did we do, right? What did I'm going to say our leaders do? What did we do as a group in order to build back our morale? Well, what did we do? We got together. Right? Do you remember that? Like many of us all came in and we went to Salt Lake City and we kind of were scared a little bit or a little bit nervous, but we were together for it. And I think we came together, like we all got a little bit closer through that, but we boosted our morale. The next thing we did is we gathered more information, right? We what is going on? I'm feeling a little uncertain. So we gathered more information. The next thing we did is we did a little reset. So it was a sit back, let me, digest all of the information that I've gathered. Let me go see how I'm feeling right now. And then to move forward, we challenged ourselves. I think about what many of us created. And if you're not part of our company, you should be. It's amazing. So go ahead and call Hill Blue. He's the one that'll hook you up. But if we next thing we did was we challenged ourselves. Many of us went and played with and achieved Catalyst Club. And by having something to strive for, we boosted all of our morale, and not even just for us. Like I saw people come out of the woodworks that hadn't been in business with me in 10 years, but they saw all this excitement and it boosted them too. And so that kind of just got me thinking of how we moved around the bases to get out of a pretty decent slump. But that was with a pretty obvious hiccup, for lack of a better word. Like we all knew we had a little bit of an issue and we all knew we needed to overcome it, and we could look at it and we could pinpoint it. And it was a difficult challenge, but it was kind of easy to overcome because we knew exactly what it was, right? We knew what we needed to do. But what if our morale is just generally blah? What if we're just in a slump? And I don't know if any of you can relate to that. I don't know if any of you have ever been in a slump before where your morale was just low, but what do we do then? And that's kind of what I looked at when it's not obvious, where I'm just feeling blah. I'm walking through the day. I don't really want to exercise. I don't really want to do any work. I don't really want to do much more schoolwork with the kids. Like, I just don't want to. I want to sit around and watch, Friends on Netflix, or it's not even on. Anyway, you get the point. I just want to sit. So first of all, we've got to get to the root of the problem. So if we are struggling to stay positive, it's time to take a moment and ask ourselves why. And it could be that we just really need a couple of days of rest. Maybe we're just overwhelmed or underwhelmed, or we need a vacation, or we need some help at home, or maybe we're not motivated in our career. We realized that maybe this isn't the path for us, or I don't know, but we need to take a moment to figure out why. Because again, I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of I'm a habit person. Y'all know I love to-do lists. I cry a lot and I love habits. So I can get into a role where I'm just running. And I don't even realize that I've gotten myself off track because I'm just going through the motions. So if you get to the root of the problem and figure out why we're not motivated and why we're not feeling that higher morale, you can figure out what you can do to fix it. Number 2 is find meaning and purpose. So when we take in our industry, we all talk about our why. Why do I get up in the morning at 5:15 when nobody's telling me to? Why do I work, as late as I possibly can, which is not very late. If you guys know me, I'm like a 9 p.m. bedtime kind of gal. But why do I keep pushing throughout the day? Well, because I have a really strong why. And if I'm having a lower, place where I'm just not feeling it, I've got low morale, well, maybe it's time to remind myself of why I do those things. What am I striving for? What am I looking to create? Number 3, and this could be something that I can get very guilty of, is work to get yourself out of a rut. So maybe you have just gotten into doing things just to do them. And you're kind of got yourself where you're just doing the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out. Well, see what you can do to get yourself out of a rut. So maybe it is, instead of you working in your office that day, work out back. Or maybe instead of doing Zoom calls, find a way to meet with people in person. I don't know, but just mix things up just a little bit. Next, if we've got lower morale, ask for some feedback. So, maybe speak to your spouse or a good friend or a coworker and say, what are you seeing in me right now? Why do you think I'm in this slump? Number 5 is to learn something new. So if you are feeling blah, well, challenge yourself, learn something new, do something new. Next is to build your network. So we all know our net worth is right here in our network. And when we are building those connections and we're growing this group and this team and these beautiful relationships that we have, it's inspiring. It makes us feel better. Again, I go back to, when we all came into Utah, we realized it's not just me. It's not just Anthony. It's all of us. We're all coming in together. Number 7 is find your inspiration. So maybe you just need to watch, like, I think of Rudy. It's a football movie. It's not really in my wheelhouse, but there's like this little guy that shouldn't play football, and he goes on to do good things in football. I don't even know what he does, but find some inspiration. And maybe it's a movie or a good friend or a book, but find something that makes you feel, a little bit more alive. So that's what I talked about today in terms of boosting our own morale. And since we have a minute, I'm going to talk really quickly about how to boost the morale of those around you. So maybe you're feeling great. You're rocking and rolling, like Rochelle, she's out there, she's building a team, she's feeling fantastic, but the people around her are a little ho-hum. Well, first of all, we've got to encourage the people around us to have some balance in their life. And I know Tony Robbins says balance is BS, and I kind of lean to that direction, but we still need to find time for some fun, for some play, for, some rest and some resetting. So when you're looking around at your team and your people, and you've got people that are just meh, well, encourage them to go golf this week, right? Encourage them to go play with that new puppy if it will let them, encourage them to go take their kids to a water park, whatever it may be, encourage them to take a break. Next is to focus on building trust. So in a team, in a group, in a business, in any kind of team that you have, if you can trust each other and have that connection, you can boost morale overall. And then lastly, don't ignore the power of small gestures. And I think about, we've talked about it on here, how I have a Palmer card that literally stayed on my refrigerator for like 7 years. And then it moved all the way across the country. And all it really says is, atta girl, good job. You're doing a good job. It was a little pat on the head. And I think about all the people in our life. Every single one of us loves a pat on the head. We all like to have that atta girl or atta boy moment where somebody notices that we're doing something and they're telling us we're, good job. So don't forget the small gestures with the people in your life on the little ways that you can encourage people and watch it boost everybody's morale. So love you guys so much. As you may have noticed, it was just me today, but we're going to have some guests throughout the week, and it's going to be really, really fun, and we will have a great time, and I just cannot wait. But I love you guys. Happy Monday, and we'll see you guys all week long. Have a great day.
God bless you.
Happy Monday.
Thank you.